Hey, Chris is back. I'm still messing with my laptop here, but we can start talking and hopefully be able to jump on video here in a minute.
Okay, well, it's your meeting, really. So why don't you outline for us what you have in mind, if you have the attention span for it?
Yeah, no, definitely. And then just restarting the MacBook here real quick. So
Okay.
see what happened there. Let me log into the forums here. So yeah, so John, thanks for having me and thanks for getting everybody together. Chris Fairbanks. I live outside of San Francisco. Been turning on and off since I was a kid. My dad taught me how to turn. Not that good anymore because I feel like more of a tool collector due to work and the crazy hours I work. I work in the tech industry for a company based in Herndon, Virginia, even though I live out here. And been a moderate term AAW for or longer, probably about 5-7 year AAW member, and then been on the forums for a few years now. And then last year they had some problems, and I had reached out to Bill Boehm, who's one of the admins, and turned out they had some hosting problems. So I got not dragged in, but I offered to help out and helped them get the forums rebuilt. Their provider had some issues, helped them get it rebuilt. And then over the last year, we've done a lot of upgrades, getting things set up and everything. And we're at a point now we're looking, what else can we do with the forums? And I'd reached out to John, and the idea was, how can we get better local involvement? Because I want to drive more members to the forums. Member of a bunch of different woodworking forums, both turning and non-turning, and wanted to figure out a way, how can we get more engagement on the forums? Because the more participation, the more good information is out there, and the more help it is to everyone. So I reached out to John with this idea of, could we do a local or regional chapter forums that are private to those chapters and set up in such a way that they could have their own little space there. It doesn't really cost the AAW anything. It takes about 5 minutes of our time to stand the thing up the first time. But from there, we can give the various chapters leadership access to grant membership rights to those forums. And I'll jump in here in a minute and show you how easy it is. But the idea would be is give you guys a space, either per chapter or per Mid-Atlantic Area 1, or a combination of the two, so you guys could have a space for your communities. I know how hard it is to run forums from a technical point of view, get them up, maintain them, the costs and stuff like that. So that's why, outside of a couple of the special interest group, there's not many chapters run their own forum software, because I don't want to say it's a burden, but it's not an easy thing either. And we've got a really cool software we use called Zenforo. It's the same software that the segmented turners use. It's the same software that the pen turners use. It's the same one the AAW has been on, I think, for about 4 or 5 years now. I know a couple of the other non-turning forums are moving over. Like, I've been talking with the admin over at Sawmill Creek. They're in the process of moving over to Zenforo. And Woodbarter is also on Zenforo. So it's a pretty common software. It's a lot of features and hooks and integrations we can do with the thing. And I'm working with the AAW executive staff on other ideas on things we can do out there, like tying the login information for the forums into IMIS. We still allow guest accounts for non-AAW members, but then from there we could do potentially other interesting things and have real-time discussions with folks that post articles or that have articles published in the American Woodturn or things like that. So we're in the early concept ideas there with the AAW executive team on how we can do that. We've got, like I said, the hurdle of connecting the forums into the main Woodturner website, because it's not an easy, there's no just click and have it done. It's some custom coding we need to have done. But in the meantime, I can do things like the chapter forums for you guys. So let me log in here real quick, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. 1 second here.
So your thought is that if we had such a thing, we would post and cross-post our meeting announcements, our wood deals, our lathes for sale, all the stuff that we currently are doing by email and phone. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the idea. Is again, give more of it. It's an interactive basis. I know some of the, like I know the groups out here in the San Francisco Bay Area, heavy reliant on email. And again, that works for some people. It doesn't work for other people either, though. So it's just, email is one of those things. I don't know about you guys. It's just, I get so much a day. Things get lost in there. And then like a for sale thread, like the Diablo Woodworkers out here is a local just woodworking group. And Jeff, who runs that, sends out an email, hey, this is for sale. Or someone wanted to ask about killing post-powder post beetles. And it was like 12 emails Jeff has to forward around to get that going. And it's just like, forums help a lot of that. And again, I know you guys, at least John and the team, you guys are doing the coffee talks, you're putting them on YouTube, but then you guys lose the follow-up capabilities because there's comments over on YouTube, which is not the most idealistic place to have threaded discussions over there.
We don't get a lot of comments over there anyway, but I guess would you think that would replace the emails that we send, or would it be also?
It could be also. So let me, and then we have the ability to do notifications, so I can work with you guys if this is something you wanted to do on like notifications and email notifications, that is. So if someone posts something new in there, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it big enough to read? I can blow it up a little.
Yes. A little more would be good.
There we go. So yeah, I work on a large screen. I do photography as a hobby, so it messes with. Let's see. Ask me another time. So if you look at the forums, it's again, for those of you who haven't been to the AAW forums, we've got a recent gallery additions. This is something new we're working on. Minimize the Zoom one there. So we're going to do a turning of the week, which is based off of. There's a small group they're picking of people to pick the pictures of the week. So we got a little turning of the week. It'll take you back. It's just a test one, so it takes you back to the picture and then the discussion over here on it. We're also looking at doing a challenge. So like they're talking about like an egg or this or that. Set up a challenge post in the middle of the beginning of the month, and then have the winner there. And then the different forums. So these are one of the staff ones up here, but rules announcement, technical support. But really the main parts are right in here. So our introductions, getting started ideas, normal just wood turning discussions, health and safety, and tutorials and tips. And then there's some AAW private membership. So if you're flagged as an AAW member in the system, and again, some manual process today, you've got access to these here. But what I was looking to do is setting up a local chapters forum. So what I did is I just took the 10 or 12 in the Mid-Atlantic group and just popped them in here for some ideas of what this would look like, and then created a Mid-Atlantic group as well. And the idea would be we could set it up either way, that there's an individual forum. So if you're, say you're a member of the Atlantic Shores Woodturners Club, you would just see this space and then say the Mid-Atlantic Woodturners Association. Or if we wanted to lump everyone together, you would just see the one group here. So John would see just, I think when I set up John, I think you see just the Lancaster Turners in the Mid-Atlantic Forum. So this isn't all cluttered. So as we add, say if we had 50 of the local chapters, your users aren't going to see 50 spaces here. They're going to see their local one in the Mid-Atlantic, or maybe just the Mid-Atlantic one, depending on what you guys would want.
So if I post in Lancaster, would it also show up automatically in Mid-Atlantic, or would I have to post twice?
You would have to post twice. So that's the thing. I don't know enough of your guys' clubs there to know if there's specific discussions you would want just for, say, Lancaster versus something for Mid-Atlantic, or do you see it as a small enough region where it makes sense to just have one space for everyone to put to? So like I could see like, hey, there's a local event for just Lancaster. You could post there, or if it's something Mid-Atlantic, you could post there. But again, if the geography is small enough for you guys and you want just one space or one forum, it's easy to set this up either way.
Well, it was the cross-posting possibilities that were of interest to me in the first place. I mean, all of the clubs in the region are within a couple hours drive, so if there was a real good wood deal, I would drive there.
Yeah. So then what it might make sense is just have one space, just a Mid-Atlantic Woodturners Association, and I could give folks permissions to go in and just add members to it. And then I can show you how to add members in here. I think
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I tried to count up how many messages our club generates in a week or a month. It's not a hell of a lot, you know, but with 10 clubs, it amounts to something.
Yeah, some clubs have more messages than we do. You know, like Susquehanna has more messages than Lancaster does.
On the same right now, actually, by my count, but yeah.
Yeah, and again, I'm open to, if we want to start it one way and change it to something else, if you guys see the need for it, if you want to go down this path, or to not do it. Again, what I'm trying to do is I want to drive more communication in the wood turners
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah,
And
we get that. What we need to do is think about whether it makes sense for us, and that's what this
yeah,
is about, to put the idea out. And I guess the other question is, would one of us have to moderate this?
so moderation, it's two ways. So Bill and Emiliano, the two main moderators or admins of the site, we would take care, and not myself. I try to stay out of the day-to-day moderation stuff. I try to work on the technical back end, and Bill and Emiliano work on setting up accounts and all that stuff. So Bill and Emiliano, for any members that you wanted to join here, Bill and Emiliano, they would fill out let me just log out here and I'll show you what it looks like. Log out. They would fill out this registration form, and then Bill and Emiliano will go check it, make sure, hey, they put in their AAW member. Bill goes and checks it against the AAW member database, make sure they are, and then approves them. So you guys wouldn't have to do any of that. What we're not.
We would have to fill that out, though. I mean, for each of our 60 guys, is that right?
Yes, or they could do it themselves, or if you have a bulk list of people, I could do that in import for you. So if you want to say, here's the Lancaster roster list, all their email addresses, their AW member, blah, blah, blah. I could go in and bulk import all that, and they get an email saying, hey, you've got a new account on the American Association of Woodturners website. Click here to set up your password.
Chris, this is Rick Baker. Are you saying that this would be available only to AAW members?
No. So the forums, how they're set up, and again, that's another incentive for the AAW to do this, is the forums today are wide open for everyone, and that's not going to change as per Phil McDonald. What we may do is for AAW members over this next 6 to 12 months is expand what's available only to members. So this is where we're talking about things like, again, say Emiliano went and did an article in the American Woodturner, we would set up a page in here for him, so then or a thread, so he could go in there. Actually, I think it's on the test site. Let me log in there real quick. What we were looking at doing. No. Oh yeah, Woodturner Journal article. So this was just a cut and paste. The graphics are off. Ignore it right now. But the idea was to say, hey, this article here, Nested Siblings by Robin, I just took some cut and paste. It's not the right picture, but the idea is to say this was in the American Association or the Woodturning Journal. We could post in here, and then here's the information, and then people can then have a threaded discussion with the article owner. So those are the type things we're looking at adding for AAW members. But if you have half or more of the local chapter members aren't AAW members, we'd still support them, because probably more than half of the people on the forums today are not AAW members. And AAW sees this as we start adding more things here, and they cross post, hey, about the symposium or this poster and stuff like that. So they'll see some of those, I don't want to necessarily call them advertisements, but information about different AAW events on the forums, hopefully entice them to eventually become members to the AAW as well.
I would find it, I have a list of our members and their email addresses, but I would find it quite daunting to have to get their membership numbers. I mean, we don't have any of those, and to get 60 guys to give me an accurate rendition of a 5-digit number is not going to be very easy.
Then it's easy enough for us to search and do that too, because we've got the access to the AAW member list, and we can go search through there, and it's just, it'd be easy enough for us to do that. I don't have access set up this way. Let's do.
Something gets posted to the forum. Do you get an email notification that there's a posting?
Correct. Yeah. So, so by default, if you go and do a post, so if I go in here, let's say Mid-Atlantic, and just I do a test here and test, and post this, by default, I'm automatically already watching this thread. Oops, sorry, that was watching the entire form. Let me go in here, this thread. So you see, I'm already watching this. So by default, how we have the site set up, if they start a new thread in, say, the Mid-Atlantic space, they will get email notifications of any new replies to their post. What we can do, and I got to just see how I can bulk do this, you can watch this space here. So right now I'm at the forum level for Mid-Atlantic. If I click watch here, I can say I want notifications either for new threads, new messages, and then I can either get alerts, which just pops up as if I'm in a web browser, or emails. And I can say watch, and now every new message, so if there's say 10 threads in here, any new message in any of those threads, I'm getting an email saying there's an update. Oh, or I can unwatch it, and if I go in here and just say new threads with emails, now I only get a post or an email if there's a new thread. So like say I went in here and posted test 2, I would have just gotten an email for that. But if this wasn't my thread here, I'd get the email on the initial post, but I wouldn't get any of the replies in here unless I came in and clicked watch again to continue that. But again, you can do it at either the thread level or the forum level.
Well, one thing I noticed right away is that we send invites out to 11 clubs. One guy contacted me to say their meeting is tonight, so he wouldn't be with us, would be taping this. And we got five clubs represented here tonight. So
yep,
that's kind of I don't know if that's a strong measure of interest or a small measure of interest. I don't know what anybody else thinks.
I think most every posting or meeting I try and have, if we get half of whatever the number is, it's pretty typical. I don't know why that is, but I would be interested in other people's thoughts. I don't see the value in this for just our club. I can see certainly the Mid-Atlantic and the cross use of different clubs, but we have a web page, we have a Facebook page, people have other avenues to do these. And as John said, we don't get a lot of action in that and a lot of postings by itself as it is. So I don't see what putting this on our club level here as a forum would do for us. I certainly understand if we make this Mid-Atlantic, seems to make sense, but I'd be interested in what other people are thinking too.
Yeah, I'll pipe in and say that I think I get maybe 3 to 4 requests a month through our webpage, and then just random things from other clubs as well. So that I think I'm experiencing about the same rate. And we also have a website. We do things mostly by email. We do have a Facebook page, but I frankly don't use Facebook. We got another guy doing that for us, and they're not integrated very well. So again, for us, I guess I have a feeling that Instagram is another way to go, and I was wondering if I should be spending my time there. I'll make just one other comment. When I've used forums in the past, I've never been a member of a forum. I've always used a forum as a way to get information about either a tool review or how to solve a problem somewhere. And I have found them helpful there, but these are, great big forums and not localized. So I agree with you, Bruce, that it does seem like going over a wider area is preferable.
Well, I agree with Bruce to the point of what value does it provide our club, and to be quite honest, I don't see that our club members are engaged in the internet much at all anyway. And you might argue that this might be a way to get them more engaged, and we certainly want that. But I don't know how we would make this appealing to our members.
Yeah, and that's also another thing. Again, one of the reasons to do outreach on the forums from the AAW's point of view is outreach to newer potential members too. So I don't know, how do you guys go about finding new members? They just, for lack of a better word, stumble across the website for one of the chapters and then join that way and jump on your guys' calls or in-person meetings when those were happening?
The way we do it are 2 or 3 ways. Number one, we demonstrate at a local artist show, and a lot of people leave their emails and then they come. We've had an instance of local newspaper interest that ran a big story, and that attracted attention. We have another local arts association And it's essentially what it is for us is a person-to-person word of mouth.
Mhm.
And I just don't see that we're going to attract new members through the internet. I can't see that. And I find forums kind of interesting, and I try to plug into one or two about once a month. But given all the internet interactions that I have, that's pretty low on my priority list.
I think
Yeah,
one of the things that we have to think about here is the problem that all our clubs have is that it's full of a bunch of old farts like us. And a lot of us don't know anything about or much about computers, so we kind of shy away from it. Well, one of the things we want to try to do is attract younger people. So we need to have these kinds of vehicles available for them to use. So I see that as an advantage by attracting younger people.
yeah, and this is something I'm more than willing to help guide you guys on. I can't, obviously there's 300 some odd local chapters. I can't get down to regular calls with everybody if we start doing this, but I'm definitely here to help guide and advise if you're looking for that. I'm just an AAW member. I'm not a paid member. I'm just a volunteer that does this on the side to help the AAW out. And again, I'm 45, so I'm probably middle of the way of people you're looking for to join as members. And I like the forums. I like the discussion aspect to be able to go out there and ask questions or see what other people are doing or techniques. And I know, like John was talking about the coffee talk in those YouTube videos. Those are great if you're there, or you can watch them later. But then you could easily post a link in here, and we could say, let me see, let's just jump it in here. So we've got.
I post in the AAW forums anytime we have a
Yeah.
video that's of general interest. Yeah.
So you could easily just go, and again, same thing, post a thread, coffee talk, and I don't know what date this was. Let's just say December 10th.
I do that quite a lot already on the main
Yep.
AAW wood forum when I've got something of general interest.
Exactly.
A couple times a month. But I'm doing that in order to attract people to our club and our events.
Exactly. And I don't know, John, have you been ascertain if you've been able to do anybody new members because of those coffee talks or because of the posting on the forums?
Well, our club has grown from 40 to 60 in the past year.
Oh, wow.
And that's entirely, I think, due to the coffee hours and the videos that we post.
Yeah.
We've had David Ellsworth on twice and interviewed him. We had Mike Darla from Australia. We got Josh Friend coming on this week, the journal editor. So we try and entertain him on the coffee hour, and then we get a good little video we posted on the forum.
Yep.
And I noticed that if I get 100 views, reads on a message on the forum, I might get 20 actual hits on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
I was wondering how many people actually look at them. That's an interesting statistic. Yeah, we get not that many people watch our video, and I find a lot of our club is just so against the technology that they're not willing to look in a lot of places. But having said that, I mean, with the Facebook page and the web page, that does recruit younger members. There's no question that that's where the younger members are coming to our club.
Yeah, and again, we can easily do, as you see, that there's a link directly to this. So if we wanted to do one by chapter, so we went back up to just Atlantic Shores, the top one there, that could easily be, or actually, let's go back down to Lancaster. So you could easily put this link on your website. So if you had it here, you could say Lancaster forums, and it'd just take you to a sublink directly to this. Mm-hmm. And again, like I said, I can bulk import users if that's easier for you guys, or we could point them here to register for an account, whatever they want to do. And again, I just throwing this out there as an option. I'm not expecting a massive attendance, a massive amount of the local chapters want to do this, but for the ones that do, it's easy enough for us to set up. And again, it's more community outreach from the AAW's point of view.
Would these local chapters forums be accessible and searchable at the broader forum level? Like, would someone who's not a member of the Mid-Atlantic be able to search and post in the Mid-Atlantic forums?
How I was envisioning it, no, but if that's something you guys want, that's again easy enough to do.
Well,
So is it,
the general drift here in the conversation so far is there's more interest in the Mid-Atlantic forum than in individual club forums.
Yeah.
I know that's true for me. I'm much more interested in the cross posts. I mean, Baltimore's as close for me as Philadelphia is. I'd like to know what they're doing.
Yep. So again, that's another option. We can easily just keep it open. So anybody that's a forum member can see it if you guys want to. Otherwise, it's easy enough to go in and just say, here's if I get a list of members, I can set up everybody's account and then just give them permissions to the Mid-Atlantic forum, and only those users can see it. But again, what's the downside of having me here in San Francisco jump in if I saw an interesting topic you guys had there? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm open any which way you guys would want to do this, and can support chapters both ways. So if a chapter, say the Bay Area Woodturners Association, wanted a forum and they wanted a private, it's easy enough for me to set them up that way, and then have a Mid-Atlantic one for you guys that's wide open.
And if it's wide open, you don't have to put the members in at all?
They have to have an account to post. So if you let me log out here real quick. So if I'm logged out, I can see, you notice I lose a bunch of the AAW member spaces here, and I can't see the local chapters one, but I can see the main forum. So here's one with 11,000 threads in it, or most one. I can see all of these. I can click in. I can see everything, but I can't, there's no reply button for me to do anything with it, but at least I can read it. If I want to post, like I said, all I have to do is register here. And again, the main thing we ask is people use their real names on the forums, because we feel it keeps the conversations more, instead of someone hiding behind a screen name. And then we ask them for their location information and then AAW member if they have it. And this is just our little anti-spam thing, and that's it. To set up an account, and they're off.
Is there a search function for this?
Yep. Yeah, I just upgraded the searches last week, so it uses a thing called Elasticsearch. So it's real. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. So I can go in and see all of I just search for one way, or I could search for whatever. In here, it's a real powerful search engine now. The one before was a little bit just, if I searched for test, it only searched for test. But this new one, if I search for test, it's searching for testing, tested, all more natural language searching like you would get with, say, a Google. It's actually using the same type of back-end search engine that Netflix and some of those type things run on, called Elasticsearch.
It's searching the threads as well as the titles, unless you click the box, right? Correct.
Exactly. So that's where, again, it helps. And I can go into advanced even, and I can say, I want it newer than this, older than this, or I can go into search threads, where I can only search down to maybe, and again, I can put a link in there for this, where I could say, hey, there's a search only for the Mid-Atlantic.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So it gives us a lot of power to be able to search in there. And also does search by media. So like you say, I think, if I remember correctly, yeah. So if I type in Maple, I'm getting all the different posts, but I'm also getting the pictures in the gallery as well.
Seems like leaving this wide open is a lot less overhead. I mean, in just setting this up, you'd have to put in 500 or 600 members, I'm guessing, and then we would have to maintain it.
Correct. And the nice thing on the maintaining, for me at least, is I can give you guys permission to do that. And I was just going to log in and do that, but it's just when I'm in a forum, I don't think I can do this right now. I don't have it set up, but I could go in here, and yeah, it doesn't show because I'm in as an admin. But what it does, it gives me another little button right here where I can say add a member, and then I just start typing their name partially in, and it'll if it searches the members, and I just click boom and click their name and add, and it's done. So it's a pretty simple setup to do.
Well, back to the moderation question. I mean, I assume the moderators read all the posts, do they not?
Yeah. So Bill and Emiliano are really the only two moderators we have right now. or they're really admins. They have because they're admins, they see everything. If this is wide open to everyone, I'm assuming they would be more involved in there if someone's posting something off topic or off color. If this is a private forum, they'd probably be leaving it alone and up to you guys to do any moderation or flag something if something needed to be dealt with. Because like in here, I could click in here and say, hey, Chris's account wasn't, Chris here didn't do something, so I can report this and report a reason off topic or whatever. And then that flags the message up to Bill and I and Emiliano to look into it.
I don't think any of us are looking for moderation chores.
Yeah.
You know, the idea that I don't see that this replaces the emails that we send either. Right now I send 2 emails a week regarding coffee hour. I don't want to send, I don't want to, I mean, I can copy them in here, but I don't want to do any more than that.
Yeah, and most of the time when there's not a lot of moderation we have to do. The bulk of Bill and Emiliano's work is really adding new members. And then if someone doesn't know how something works or post something in the wrong space, yeah, we do move some things around and stuff, or like the marketplace things as they get old. We the for sale threads, we close out the ones that aren't needed anymore and move them over to the archives here. But that's about the heavy lifting of moderation the team has to do.
Well, is there any way Susquehanna gets a lot of inquiries, wood deals and tool deals more than we do? And Troy Nethaway, the president of the club, posts that. He's posting a couple things a week. Is there any way that his emails that he posts to the club list could automatically show up in the Mid-Atlantic Forum so he didn't have to type them in again?
Let's see. I think there is. Let's see.
There may be some extensions to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I just don't, it's not something we do today, but it's something I can look into for you guys and see how to do that. We could also, again, if we're in the Mid-Atlantic one, let me go into admin here real quick.
I think part of the value of a forum is like, for example, those emails you're talking about, John, you know, like there's some wood available or something. And then you get, you know, a dozen people who reply all, you know, and we're all seeing all of those emails back and forth, you know, people I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's like, realistically, this would not replace email now, but it might be over 3 or 4 years. There could kind of be a gradual move. And younger people do not want to deal with emails, pretty much.
Yeah,
you know, not my emails anyway.
that leads me to the question of, there are 2 related questions. One is, what's the benefit to our current members? And I guess the benefit would be that you would see not only topics, but opportunities to buy equipment or sell equipment within our region.
Mm-hmm.
And the other is, and the big question to me is, what does this do to attract new members? How would people who have not been part of AAW or any particular club find this and find it an appealing vehicle to join a local club?
So I think that goes back to the AAW themselves and what they're doing there on outreach and continue to do that stuff. I can speak a little, but I don't feel like I said, I'm not a member of the executive staff or the board of directors or anything there, but they're definitely doing outreach at the overall around wood turning. And I'm working with them to better place I don't want to say advertising, but trying to promote the forums in the various means of advertising or in outreach that they do. So be it in American Wood Turner or the main website or communications they do in different things, trying to get people captured into the forums to use them. And then from there, hopefully, again, eventually get them to be an AAW member and get the various benefits they get from the main AAW group. So as they do different things here, I'm trying to make sure the forums get placed well. So if you see right now, whoops. So under communities, we're right here. But trying to get it placed in, again, as the journal goes out and other things go out, trying to promote the forums in there and do more things that way. But the AAW is definitely trying to continue to do outreach and go after new members as a whole, and then hopefully try to drive that down to local chapters for in-person things, the coffee talks, the marketplace type things, and just general mentoring and stuff.
Well, I
And I just-
certainly don't see any downside to this. I guess it remains to be seen if we participate.
Yep.
What the upside turns out to be.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things you get out of it what you put into it, and that's where it comes down to. If we get 3 members across each of the roughly 10 groups or whatever it is, yeah, there's going to be some traffic here, but probably not much, because like I go over to the segmented turners, there's a post or 2 a week, or sometimes there's 10 posts a week, versus here we're having on average 300 to 400 people a day visiting, about 12.5 threads started, and probably about 50 to 75 messages a day posted overall in the forums. If you look there, I think we've got, so there's 14,000 threads and 172,000 messages on there. And again, members, there's some in here that probably haven't logged in 10 years, but they still have an account on the system. We probably get about 3 to 5 new member registrations a day. So there's definitely traffic coming into the forums. And if we can drive down some traffic down into the individual chapters, then hopefully you guys can capture them as members as well.
Will you help us with communications to our members about the benefits of clicking on this forum periodically?
Yeah, I can definitely help you guys with that. Like I said, we can look and see if there's ways to capture emails into thread posts to save some posting time there. We can even do sub forums. Like I just spun this up real quick, did a marketplace forum. So if we wanted to keep the main forum just for really discussions, and then, hey, there's the marketplace here, could be, hey, there's this lathe for sale, or some wood for sale, or a chuck for sale, or something like that. Or again, you can let them mix together. It depends on how you guys want to do this. It's infinitely possible what we can do, but the keep it simple is probably our best principle to do here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to me to make a lot of sense to have sub forums until we have a need for it, you know.
Exactly.
At the beginning, Mid-Atlantic, put everything in there, see what happens.
And we can always sort and split it out later.
Sounds good.
Chris, do you generally see that there's an individual in each club that kind of spearheads postings to these things to sort of get it going and keep it going?
You guys are our first. So yeah, I would think that would probably be best. Again, probably who's ever doing the email communication today to cross post that information over to here. Definitely would be, again, help drive people there. Because again, if they come here and they don't see, if they know they're getting your emails weekly and they see, oh, 1 week it's here, 1 week it's not there, 1 week it's here, they're probably not going to stick around to the Mid-Atlantic forum. Maybe they stick around for some of the other stuff on the forum, but they might not stick around for the Mid-Atlantic space if it doesn't have the most current information. That's what people are always looking for, is where can I go to get all that information? And unfortunately, we got too many different ways to do it between YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, forums, Facebook, emails.
Yeah. Well, I have to admit that probably of the entire group here, we probably do the poorest job of communicating with our members. Mike Lebo handles our coffee hours, and that's probably the most active thing that we have. It has not been terribly successful, but bless his soul, Mike keeps working at it, and anything we can do to add to that in terms of engagement of our current members, I think that would be a good thing.
Sounds good. Yeah, I could start working on some write-ups on like an introduction email for the forums. We could figure out how we'd want to post in here. So like John's posting, he could put the title Lancaster dash coffee talk and the date, however you want to do it, John. But we could do something like that. So you, as you jump in the Mid-Atlantic Forum, there's some call out between the various local chapters there.
Yeah, and if we could just, you know, publish occasionally a list of call them topics.
Yep.
That we could send out to our members and say, hey, these are the latest things that are being talked about on this forum. We invite you to join.
Yep.
I think that'd be very helpful.
Fair enough.
Chris, can you think of a real standout thread that just comes to mind quickly that says, man, this is really why you want to have a forum?
Not offhand. I've been so busy with work, and I took a 17-day national park tour, so I'm just coming back from work and being out of town. But no, there's a lot of stuff in here, and you'll see stuff, people talking about, hey, I got a new lathe, or again, looking here, epoxy. Like, what type should I do on this? Or Miliano talking about a coring thing. Something about getting white speckles in their epoxy. Why? There's just so many different little things out there on, and again, as you guys know, wood turnings is out of all the different things you can do with wood, it's probably one of the most infinite and most amount of different things you can buy for, or least amount of things you can buy for it if you want to. And a lot of people dig in here and just ask random questions, little stuff. So like, hey, this guy's saying he's got a pinhole in his thing. What's the best way to get out? 80 grit sandpaper, this guy's saying. Or this person's saying, slow down the cut, take shallow cuts. There's so many different things. And again, it expands the range of people answering questions. Because again, I know, like you're saying with the coffee talks, if you get half the people on a given call, it's great. But how can we do outreach and grab those other 50% of those people? And hopefully the forums, it's not going to definitely grab the entire other 50%, but we can get another 10, 20%, and then that initial 50% and follow up with them and give them other ideas to talk off of. Again, it's just another means of communicating is how I see it. But I like it because I can come in here and see it. It's delineated, it's nice and clean, versus like you try to go to YouTube comments and it's the wild, wild west over there, or Instagram comments that are capped at, hey, here's 100 characters of a response. And a lot of the stuff we do needs more than 128 characters to respond to.
Yeah, I think if we could work with you to communicate highlights periodically, like once a week or some such thing. In my opinion, anything we can do to enhance the member experience is going to generate word of mouth. Mm-hmm. And so for that reason, you know, there are probably 2 or 3 of us who might have the time to work with you to make this really work for our club. So enough said on that.
Well, do you guys want to do this? Let me work on a few things since we discussed. I'll clean this up so it's down to just Mid-Atlantic. Clean this all up, and then I'll start typing up some thoughts on what maybe that introduction email would look like and the benefits, a link on how to register for an account, stuff like that. And do you guys want to catch up after the 4th of July holiday?
Sure, good idea.
Sounds like a plan.
And then maybe we'll see if we can grab a few of the other chapters that couldn't attend tonight.
Yeah, and we just need to make it real easy for these people. I mean, as somebody noted earlier, there are a lot of people who are just pretty uncomfortable with using these types of resources.
Yep.
And so if we could just provide a link that says, click here for the latest on X or something, you know what I'm saying?
Yep, no, definitely know what you're saying. I can think through that and come up with some ideas and type it up and show you guys what I'm thinking. Then we can tweak it from there. And if everybody's in agreement, go ahead and launch this thing in July.
That'd be great.
I did have one other quick question.
Yeah.
Is there a way, or could there be a way that you could have some sort of badge or label for the profiles so that people would know if the poster is a member of the Lancaster Area Woodturners or the Mid-Atlantic Association, or whichever club? That way it might help promote interest in that club, because you can see, oh, look at all this, look at all these posts from this guy who's a member of the Susquehanna Club or whatever.
Yeah, I would want to talk to Bill and Emiliano about that. We definitely have what they call badges. You see here, Kim, who runs marketing for the AAW. She's got a staff member badge here. And then, let's see.
Yeah, click on one of those postings because it was coming up that way. So what's there on the left? Yeah.
Yeah, so right here, this little blue badge here. So it's easy enough to do, or if you go back down, we'll look at my post here. So mine's shows staff member and beta tester, since I'm staff on the admin side, and we've got a small group of people to help us beta test the new forum features we roll out when we do forum upgrades. So it's definitely something we can do. I just want to talk to Bill and Emiliano about how we administrate that, because that's not something I can give anybody besides the admins permissions to do that, but it's definitely something we can do. So let me look into this, see if there's a way to make it a little easier, along with the email to start new posts capabilities, and then I'll get back to you guys.
One thing you're going to have there, if you put club guys what club they belong to, the active guys belong to more than one club. We have, I think, 18 members cross belong to Susquehanna and Lancaster, for example.
Yeah, so that's I'm trying to remember, where is the
Good point.
trying to remember where the badges are at.
Yeah. I just mentioned that as one of the issues you'll run into. Randy belongs to both clubs. I belong to both clubs. I think that Matt and Larry do too.
Yeah, and I'll be a member of your Lancaster club pretty soon.
Mike Lebo belongs to Lancaster, and I'm thinking of joining Baltimore. So there you go.
We would welcome you, John. It's all good.
Here we are, user groups. Is this the badges banner? There we are. Yeah, because what I can do here is if I go back, let's do this here, user groups. Where is Lancaster? So we can say badge. Yeah, let me figure it out, but there might be a way to easily do this, and that those badges stack. So if you notice, like on my account here, they stacked. So you could have 2 or 3 of them. I'm assuming you're probably not going to have someone with like 4 or 5 of those necessarily, but maybe 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Become a badge of honor if people want to do that. That's a way to up membership.
Exactly. So let me dig into what that would take there on that piece of it. It's definitely something possible. I just want to make sure I don't create an administrative burden for Bill Emiliano and I on trying to do that.
So if you want to organize a meeting for right after July, why don't you and I talk about that and set a date, and I'll send an email out to this same list. I'm willing to continue to do that.
Perfect. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Chris, I'm in several different wood-related groups on Facebook, and a lot of people show up and post a message that amounts to, I don't know what to do. What do I need to do? But my standard reply is, if it's related to wood turning, is I point them right at the chapter list for AAW and say, nothing beats standing behind someone and watching them.
Yep.
And I tell them, go to there, search for a club in your area, contact the club, go to the meeting.
Yep. And maybe that's something we need to do a better job of on the forums as a whole here, doing that same type of messaging, is people are asking questions. And again, it tends to be a lot of the members that post regularly are advanced members. These are guys and gals that do a lot of turning in their lives. But But yeah, again, this is something I can also talk with Kim and Phil on about at the AAW about more outreach. How can we drive new members here to learn? Versus, again, you look at the folks that are in here, a lot of them are very seasoned, if not professional turners that make a living off of doing this stuff.
All right, sounds like we have a way forward.
Yep.
Yep. Rick Baker, you're on the board. What do you have any thoughts on this from that point of view?
No, I like the idea, and it certainly adds to the benefits of AAW. And I think it sounds good for us locally, getting together better. And once we're able to get out there and go to physical meetings, gives us opportunity to go to other clubs' meetings if if there's a demonstrator there that we want to see or a subject that's being covered. So I think it's got a lot of possibilities.
One of the things I find very curious, and perhaps you can help me out with this. Obviously we've had through COVID a lot of opportunities through AAW sponsored things and individual club sponsored things for our members at a nominal fee, like $10 or something, to see an IRD. And I just don't find that our members are responding to that much at all. What have been your experiences? What can we do to encourage more of that?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that, if it's a cost thing or they don't like the Zoom aspect of it. Again, it's just there's such a wide range of wood turners, from young to old, technical to non-technical, very new at turning to some of the best turners in the world. And I think it's trying to cut a swath across that and find that individual group there that's open to doing that. And I think there's a lot of people just they want that hands-on feel. And I think as we come out of COVID here, hopefully, knock on wood, and you guys start all returning to local meetings and local demos and hands-on type stuff again, I don't know if those virtual turnings will be good for, hey, I want to go see this best turner to do this thing or that thing, because that's hard to get down to a local region all the time and on a reasonable cost basis. But I think a lot of the stuff, I think people just like hands-on. I'm a hands-on type person, even though I work in tech. I would rather be out in the shop playing with something than sitting behind my keyboard. And I think a lot of people are that same way. But if we can give them something to ask questions and troubleshoot things when there isn't it's something very specific, or there's not a meeting for another 2-3 weeks, hopefully this is another way just of engagement.
One of the things we might do is segment our audience just a bit in terms of beginners, intermediate, and advanced, and target some of these demonstrations to those three groups. There may be other ways to segment, but I'm just having a hard time. I send out stuff to our membership, and I just don't find that many of them sign up ever.
Yeah, I work for a public tech company. We got about 2,500 employees, and even our CEO sending out an email where our marketing team has software linked in the emails to see who opened them. Our CEO only gets 25% of the people opening up his weekly communication sometimes. That's someone working for a company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes people just, they're content and they'll reach out when they need to reach out. And if we can give them, hey, here's another avenue of hopefully of valuable knowledge that's in a nice, easy to use and searchable repository, hopefully this will start becoming a good spot for them to reach out and engage with you guys.
Would it be possible, do you think, in this forum to classify posts in terms of beginners, intermediate, and advanced, or something like that?
I've seen something similar, but let me look into that. Someone would need to, I don't think we can rely on the the poster to necessarily classify that, but we might be able to give you guys permission to do that yourself. So let me look into that one.
All right.
Yeah, Chris, there are several forums that I'm on that use Zenforo and have classifications like longtime member, high poster,
Yeah.
beginner, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's easy enough to do on like the user level, but then an individual thread level, like if I came in here and like getting the main word turn discussion, like is Odie here going to be the one to flag this is an advanced post versus you know what I'm saying, versus bandsaw advice, say Alan's asking for this is an intro, you know what I'm saying, is he going to be the one, or is this original poster going to do it? We can easily flag, hey, this is a longtime forum member or whatever, say this, he's a member of Lancaster, but the actual individual thread, it's hard to do that.
How would you post a wood deal? How would that be flagged?
Yeah, exactly. So let me look into that. That's not something I've thought of before. I know like on Zenforo, their own support forum, when I start a new thread, I get like a little subtitle thing here I can pick. This is for Zenforo 2.2, or this is for the gallery, or this is for that. So and it puts the right flags on a thing. Let me see if I can log in. See if I can show you what that looks like real quick. If I come in, yeah, you see how it's got right here, this little title bubble. So if I go, I'm not logged in here, am I? Not on this computer, but you get this little ability here to flag this. So this could be, you could have, this is a for sale thread, or this is a advanced question or an intermediate. I just want to see, again, it's another level of complexity. And is that something we want to start with versus, hey, let's start, get some of the things like the email to thread capability set up and the banners for each of the local chapters. And then we can eventually maybe get to there.
Yeah,
But let me look into it and we can talk more about it on the next call.
Yeah, I think that's a good approach.
Yeah, good.
And then if we do launch this thing, I'm game to jump on, again, I got to watch my time a little bit between 2 kids and a full-time job, but I'm game to jump on some of the various coffee talks if we do launch this, and talk with the members that way if you guys want some help in trying to get this off the ground.
Great.
Sounds
Good idea.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate your guys' time tonight.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
appreciate
Thank you, Chris.
your initiative here. I think one way or another, it's going to help all of us.
Yeah, it's fun.
And
I'm
it's
hoping
certainly
so.
another opportunity to add value to our members.
Yep, exactly. Well, I hope you guys have a good week and a good 4th of July holiday, and I will work with John and we'll get something set up in a few weeks.
Yep. I will post the recording of this in the Mid-Atlantic forum that's already exists out there, so you guys can get at it.
Perfect. And if any of you guys don't have forum accounts already, like I said, just go to aawforum.org. And when you get there, you'll see a register button. Just click the register button and fill out the information and hit submit. And then Bill and Emiliano, only takes them about a day or 2 to approve accounts. And then you'll have access to it, and we can go from there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a wonderful night.
Thanks, Chris.